Greetings and salutations. If you're new to this channel, new to my work, my name is Joshua Free. I'm the founder of the modern Mardukite movement and developer of Mardukite Babylon, and also Necronomicon, the Anunnaki Bible, which we've dedicated our Mardukite 10th anniversary reboot here on YouTube, MardukiteTV. I think we're on 9 episodes into our reintroduction of this groundbreaking foundational work, now available in its 10th anniversary collector's edition hardcover. That's widely available now and even more economical than previous paperbacks, which is something we're pretty proud of. So in our previous episode, we began a sidebar to our review of the Mesopotamian Mysteries contained within Necronomicon, the Anunnaki Bible, and specifically those that attest to its contents as the origins of Mardukite systems, but all modern systems, whether philosophic, scientific, mystical, and yes, even religious, wherein we find the original, most antiquated, most ancient translations of cuneiform renderings describing the true, or at least original, source material for later understandings of, for example, the Garden of Eden and creation of modern humans, such as the Adam and Eve story, the Deluge or Great Flood, the establishment of order and civilization both before and after this catastrophic reboot in history, and other things dealt with in scriptural religion and religious mysticism. But what's not so well known is that the origins of the Hermetic and the ancient mystery schools of the metaphysical and mystical systems that we also know today in the esoteric realm anyways, they also stem from, in their most ancient, raw, and clear forms, from the literature tradition of ancient Mesopotamia as well. So that's something we're exploring here as a sidebar to our MardukiteTV 10th anniversary reboot concerning Necronomicon, the Anunnaki Bible. This episode of MardukiteTV is being set for broadcast originally on the winter solstice 2018, which is coinciding with another side project release of mine, not related specifically to the Mardukite movement, but the Book of Errol, a complete Druid source book, is being released by Kima Global Publishers December 21st, 2019, or 2018 rather. And within this text, over the course of the last, well, almost 25 years now, I've also been involved with a branch of Neo-Druidism that's been on the rise, Errol Druidism, which was made popular, or at least most widely known through the writings of my Druidic mentor, Douglas Monroe. And in working with them and New Forest Center, was eventually able to compile my own facsimile work of the Book of Errol over a trilogy of 3 volumes, which the 3 volumes were collected into one book, which is now the Book of Errol, a complete Druid source book, and it's being released through Kima Global Publishers out of South Africa, which some may not be aware that they also have published the final installment of Douglas Monroe's conclusion to his Merlin trilogy, and it's called Deep Teachings of Merlin. So he's published 3 books, 21 Lessons of Merlin, Lost Books of Merlin, and then Deep Teachings of Merlin, which completes his published writings on the topic. And then as not only a companion to his work, but really any tradition or interest in Welsh Druidry, the sources of the Welsh literary bardic tradition and so forth as it relates to not only the Verrall Druids, but the substance of modern Druid revival as a whole, the Book of Errol. One of the things that makes the work of the Mardukites and Necronomicon Anunnaki Bible so profound is that it really related to anyone based on any background whatsoever, both historically, spiritually, intellectually, and so forth. So those who actually have a background in Hermetic mysteries and Hermetic tradition, whether it be from the Rosicrucians or involvement with the Golden Dawn traditions, mystical orders, magical orders, a lot of the New Age stuff that's available these days, things of that nature, they begin to understand some of their stuff on a different level when they see how it's represented or where it comes from on these ancient tablets. And so, like, one of the most profound examples I might as well share as part of the exploration of these mysteries here on the series, and to kind of bring our series to a certain point, to reintroduce again to people that may not have been familiar with this work before, that are just now finding it, and so forth. Also, beautiful collector's edition now available for those that have actually been following along with this work and are looking to commemorate their alumni status and traditions that they've established as a result. So within these pages, there is what we find Tablet T, which is described as the Book of Nabu, Tutu, and the Hermeticum, for the sake of cataloging it in the Mardukite library. So rather than get deep into the background of the Anunnaki figures involved, specifically in the rise of Mardukite tradition in ancient Mesopotamia surrounds Marduk and Nabu. So when we think of this evolution of the mystical and magical tradition, there's a lot of parallels that can be drawn, specifically because these systems are rooted in this ancient methodology. And this is something that's not so widely understood, even among people who are involved in these mystery traditions today, whether it be scholarly or on a more occult level, because the ancient Near East and the information on the cuneiform tablets themselves has not been as widely accessible or studied or relayed on a mainstream level as, for example, what we might find from the Egyptians or the classical world of the Greeks and Romans. And the significance of this is really that we attribute a lot of things falsely to having originated or being incepted with certain cultures, not realizing that they were borrowing from information and from traditions that came before them. And this isn't so much a matter of attributing authorship in the terms of who deserves the credit for some kind of worldly or egotistical purposes. What we are most concerned with is tracing the origins and sources of information, traditions, beliefs, and even the sciences, the philosophies, the astronomies, the mathematics, and so forth, to their true understanding. Because even today we're taught a lot about, for example, the mathematics and the Masonic information drawn from, for example, the Egyptian style of architecture, also the scientific proliferation and philosophic from the Greek culture. Again, not really realizing that a lot of these ancient mystery schools were preserving their part or their shred or teardrop of something that came before that they were custodians of. So to specifically relay some of the information within Necronomicon, the Anunnaki Bible, Tablet T is composed of actually several tablets. Most of them are these series. And so the first tablet of Nabu describes the origins specifically of the Hermetic tradition. And it's a conversation taking place between Nabu and Marduk. Marduk being, at this juncture, a unseen god. And some scholars have interpreted as the point where Marduk is Amun-Ra in Egypt, and another instance where it's describing him being basically speaking from within a pyramid, whether that be a mountain or a ziggurat, or some kind of imprisonment where this first instruction of the mysteries is being given from the unseen God. And so you have a lot of parallels from the get-go to esoteric mysteries embedded all throughout the tradition. So, and it says, and so Nabu, which is indicated as I within the original text of the material. And so Nabu went to the mountain, or the pyramid, to hear the voice of the great God come from the mountain, the unseen God whose vision and voice comes to the prophet. And the voice of Marduk came out of the mountain. And it said, I am the voice of the God who cannot be here. I am the voice of the God who is in the hearts of all men. I am the voice of the God who appears in many faces. It is I, the voice of the God, that will teach you the way. And I command you, dear son, to write this, what I say, on tablets for all of humanity's sake, that they might honor the gods of their ancestors, the Anunnaki, but worship the eternal source of all being and creation. I am not only the voice of your God, but also your commander. Prepare for the long and hard battle, such as lies ahead. And Nabu asked Marduk, what can men do to prepare for the sake of their own lives? How can they live to serve and worship proper? And the voice of Marduk echoed out, live piously by the tablets of destiny, for there is no longer any religion higher than the source, and the desire of God is for us to love one another, and not to sacrifice the life which has been made possible. So this here indicating this should be the end of animal sacrifice. A certain knowledge of what is good and evil on earth, with perfected choice, will be the former. So is the will of God. There is no pleasure to be gained from the wasteful shed of blood. Celebrate life and sing praises to the creation around you, which has been carefully made for you by the highest, under who the Anunnaki live and reign over the lower. And Nabu asked Marduk, for what can men do to repent of their sins if not by sacrifice? And the voice of Marduk responded, give to the eternal source dedication and commitment in life, and this is all that is asked of you in this life. Men approach the face of God in fear and beg forgiveness, when their efforts could be better spent in prayer and praise. Men flood the temple shrines with more food than is consumed, when it could be later distributed among the poor. Bring the God of life no more vain offerings of flesh. Pray and live a pious life, at one with creation. How hard is this? Make simple rituals if it pleases you, but only prayer and devotion is asked of the God for all. Do not deny yourself of a happy existence in the name of God. Never let your livelihood be neglected because you worship God. Lives dedicated to the source are not preoccupied by worship. For to go out and live and act the pious life among men is best.